Hey everybody, it's Lori Guest here. I'm in Austin, Texas for a luxury travel conference. And we just had a really fancy dinner and sponsors were allowed to get up on the stage and talk a little bit about their company. And I want to introduce you to Steve Simao, and he is the Senior Vice President of Sales, correct?
Correct.
At Windstar Cruises. And the reason that I asked him to do a little short interview with us here is they have a tagline for their company that just popped off the screen at me. It actually evoked an emotion that makes me want to learn more about their company, right? That's what he's going for in sales, and that's certainly what we're going for when we use the right words at the right time to get a desired result. And here it comes. Their tagline is 180 degrees from the ordinary. Did I get it right?
180 degrees from ordinary.
There we go. 180 degrees from ordinary. I love it.
Awesome.
So interesting. So I asked him if he'd do a quick interview with us, and the first thing I wanted to know is what's the backstory on the tagline. He said in his brief presentation they used it years ago, and it kind of faded into the background a little bit, and now they've dusted it off and brought it back. So Steve, tell my listeners a little bit about what's the backstory.
Yeah, so essentially Windstar Cruises was actually a cruise line that was founded with cruise ships with sails, as opposed to a traditional cruise ship. So they wanted to think of a way to explain that this was a cruise line that was not a typical cruise line. It had something different about it. So they thought, well, what the opposite of what you would expect? If you think of a circle, 180 degrees would be completely opposite of what you're expecting, and thus 180 degrees from ordinary was born. Throughout the years we used it, and then it kind of faded into the background, and then really about a year ago we were looking for another way for us to sort of rebrand ourselves, reinvigorate the company. And we engaged a third-party organization who came in and looked at things and said, you know what, you've already got it in place, and that's 180 degrees from ordinary.
What I think is interesting about this is that dust it off and the magic's still there. Is that true for any of you? Is there something you were using in the past that people resonated with and it just fell off the wayside somehow? It kind of went overboard on you, right? You see what I did there?
Yes, we don't do that though. 180 degrees from ordinary, we keep people on board.
There you go. So it's back now, and so tell me a little bit about the it's back part of it.
So it always was a marketing message. It was always a way that we reached out to our potential guests and said, hey, your cruise experience will be 180 degrees from ordinary. But now, actually the whole company has embraced this as our lens of something we look at everything we do. Whether it's dealing with our travel agency partners, our vendors, even our own employees with each other. When we have a situation and we say, how do we approach this? We say, what would be a typical way of doing it? And what would be a way that we could do it that is 180 degrees from ordinary?
And that is what made me want to interview him. Because if you've listened to me talk before in these videos, you know it drives me crazy when a company has a tagline, but then they don't back it up. Their team doesn't behave the way their tagline works. And so when you told me that your team actually operates looking through that lens, I'm like, you got me sold. That's pretty good.
Great. Well, we truly think that there's a way for you to sort of approach your business and just think of, you know, how can you do it differently? And this actually tasks us to that each and every day.
I absolutely love it. So Steve, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to our viewers. And hey, if you're thinking cruise, time to think Windstar. Thanks for listening.